everyone. Welcome back to Student Dream TV. I am your host, Nina. And as always, we are here to bring you the best money, investing, career, and startup tips so that you can secure the bag before and after graduation. And for anybody who's been interested in protesting, in activism, this session is for you. I am here with Miss Linda Wilson, who started off her career in social activism as a member of the Black Panther Party, but has since transitioned into philanthropy work, working at one of the largest foundations in the country, impacting so many different lives in so many different ways. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure to stay tuned. All right, well, Miss Linda Wilson, thank you so much for being here with me and the Student Dream community. I really appreciate it.
I am so glad to be here. I have I say I'm in my sunset years, and there's so many things I want to share with folks, and there are tools, resources, ideas, and my maiden name is Young, so I always want to be youthful in my thinking. So any excuse to talk to young people, I grab it. So thanks for inviting me.
Well, thank you, Linda. My pleasure. You've been a blessing to me over the last few years. So everybody, y'all watching, make sure you listen up. So I briefly introduced everyone to who you are, but I'd love to give you the opportunity to do that. Can you share a bit about, who is Linda Young Wilson? Where are you from, and what do you do?
Okay, Linda Young Wilson, also known as Ukali, which means fierceness in Swahili. And I'm just a DC-born native. Right now, I'm a mother, a grandmother, and even a great-grandmother.
Wow.
And, I know,
yeah.
That. Hopefully he won't come knocking in here and go, Gigi, up, pick him up, right? But yeah, I really actually started my activism with CORE, Congress of Racial Equality, then Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, and then just, Pan-Africanist groups. I call it desperately seeking purpose. And that's, and I sort of landed at the Black Panther Party, basically,
wow.
Because I was lost. And they had the 10-point platform and program. It made sense. They were organized, and they had been doing some awesome work. And actually, I was walking down the street, pretty sad about the way of the world in those days. And I saw these Panthers hugging children in the neighborhood. Wow. And I just walked in and joined. And they sent me out with 25 papers immediately to start selling. And that's
hugging children.
That's what happened. I got involved in that, and I just learned so much. And actually, I say it was my leadership university, and that's one of the reasons why I talked to you. And I wanted to share some tips and insights about that experience, among many others. I'm 72 this year, so I've had quite a few.
Wow.
But want to share.
Thank you, Linda. And talk to me about, because how long have you been leading the Fund 2 Foundation? Can you share with folks what the Fund 2 Foundation is and your role at the foundation?
Yeah, actually, Fund 2 Foundation is very new. It came about in the end of 2014, so I came on board as the executive director in late 2016. So it was sort of started, but I did write the charter. Let me put it that way. In 2014, actually, I had lost my son to brain cancer in 2014, and my nephew has a ranch. Robert Smith has a ranch, and he said, "Auntie, help me! I need to write a charter." So I said, "Well, I need to come up to the ranch and mourn a little bit. I need to be by myself. Just did a funeral, et cetera, et cetera." So I got there, but he's a smart cookie. He knew that I'm an activist by nature. I wasn't going to sit and walk the woods and, do stuff. So he said, do something. So in a way, I sort of memorialized my son, whose father was also a Panther, by sitting down and writing the charter. And
wow.
Simply it's about, I don't even have them in front of me, but music education should be for everybody because music is a great unifier. The
So true.
nature, nature is a healer. And unfortunately, too many of our kids, their feet don't even touch ground anymore. I remember when I was little, my mom would send me down south to, visit relatives. And although the mosquitoes bit me up, it was like one of the most beautiful things under the sun. I could see the stars. I learned about dandelion wine and all these different things. I just felt akin to nature, and
Yes.
it made me know that true spiritualism is the love of nature. So I miss that. So that's one of the tenets of Fund2 Foundation, as well as social justice. Always, let's look at equity. I mean, come on. How many people have an African American founder of a foundation that whose funds flow through his efforts and his company's efforts? That why wouldn't we look at African Americans as beneficiaries of that largesse, so to speak? And what's the other one? Oh, I forgot one. But the last one, which is really sort of where we've been spending a lot more time, is actually really is actualizing the American dream of prosperity. So at the base of it, what we're really talking about is rekindling hope and ensuring prosperity for generations to come. And all, I say, overlooked and underestimated people. And that happens to be us, unfortunately, with 401 years of pain and peril. So
Seriously.
that's what we're working on. Right now, we're really dedicated to internships because we figured that if you think about it from cradle to greatness, there's some challenges, and that is internships.
Right.
You'll be tooling along and scholarships, mentoring, and everything else, but then you end up at TJ Maxx for a summer when you need to be in a health system because that's what you're interested in. And
right.
Not as easy because we don't have that access. So we've been punching into internships, as well as the debilitating effects of high student debt. So those are the things that we're working on most now. But I mean, look us up, Fund2 Foundation.
Oh yeah.
.org. We meddle in everything we can. So,
right.
It has a social justice equity piece. We're
right. And anybody who's watching this, you can just click the banner on the top of the screen, because we made a quick highlight video of the Fund2 Foundation. So if you want to just know all of the Black brilliance that's going on around the world, led by the Fund2 Foundation, Linda Wilson and team, make sure you check that out.
Oh, thank you. One thing we're I don't know when you're going to air this, but one thing we are very proud of is we sponsored, well, it'll be afterwards, but I'll get you the link. New York Times is doing we sponsored.
We could push it.
Okay. So 1619, that whole thing.
Yes.
I was so proud watching protesters talk about 1619.
Yes.
That was done. That was sort of lifted up by the New York Times, Nicole Hannah-Jones, and we're doing a special program tomorrow on COVID-19 and the effects of inequities in healthcare. So yeah.
Great.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we have to lift up everything, because we can't see our people left behind anymore. And I love it. I love the way your activism has informed the work that you do now. But can you talk to us a bit more about, what did social activism teach you to prepare for the world of work?
Well, forgive me for just reading a little bit of it, because I can tell you, when I got my master's degree in organization development, I was so a star, because I had that Panther experience, and people can talk that game, but look, we were doing it. And so number one, I would say, is preparation. Oh my goodness, we did not play. In order to do 10,000 bags of groceries with a chicken in every bag,
wow,
and also have John Lee Hooker doing music, And we're a bunch of kids. I think the median age was 19 at the time. I was a little older because I had gone the SNCC core route. But we had to figure that stuff out. We had to measure the bag. I didn't even know what we were doing, but we measured the bag, with a ruler and weighed the chickens and then figured out how much broccoli to put in or how much kale or how much to order sweet potatoes. I mean, all that stuff, we had to figure it out in order to so that it didn't break the bag. I know that sounds silly, but in a sense, we were doing manufacturing and assembly work without even realizing it. And then you had to do security to make sure that folks who had nefarious mindsets run up there 3 or 4 times and take more bags than necessary. And then, I was a bodyguard. I did voting registration. We did everything.
Come on, bodyguard.
I know that's it. I actually did bodyguarding for Malcolm X's widow.
Wow.
So yeah, I love that. That was so much fun. But,
stories. The stories of a decolonizer.
Yeah. So preparing, we had meetings, I'm so grateful for that. Discipline. You had to have discipline. If you didn't, otherwise, even our own basic natures start getting in the way of things. Communication. We had chapters all over the country. Things had to be done simultaneously. We had to get the newspaper. I drove a truck for the newspapers up and down the East Coast. I delivered them pregnant,
Wow.
So I had to figure out how many newspapers each group. Well, it was just fascinating. All the preparation and analysis, not calling it that we had to do. Contingency plans. The police would shoot up an office. Or not the police.
Wow.
I got beaten by the police a few times, stripped naked actually in DC.
Wow.
And the community came out and rescued me. I love it. Pulled me out the paddy wagon. It was a beautiful thing.
Wow.
But we would have vigilantes just go up and shoot an office while you're working. And so we had to figure out how to keep ourselves safe. We had to do sandbags. We had to do all of that.
Wow.
Or if somebody might get locked up. So we had to figure out, okay, if Joe can't be there, what about Kwame? That kind of a thing. So, it was just so much. It seeped into me. We had to seduce people. I don't mean that in any sensual manner, but seduce people to listen to us when people were like, oh no, we like, Martin Luther King's nonviolent way.
Right.
but we had to say, look, we got to protest, we got to march, we got to do this, that, and the other. We also had to learn knowing when to command. Like I said, somebody might get locked up and I became the de facto leader of different chapter of our DC chapter, actually, when somebody got locked up. When to listen. Community would come to us and say, whatever's going on. When to do anything. You have to have judgment. And I say this to everybody young. Judgment is the most important piece of work. Sometimes you need to be soft, sometimes you need to be hard, sometimes you need to be in the middle. You need to figure out when to play what role. So understanding the beauty and horror of ego and ambition. Unfortunately, I learned that sometimes the hard way. People, even good people with the limelight on them, they start getting the big head. We know how that is.
Yes.
And also knowing how personality seeps into the culture. And that's for any organization. The leader determines the neuroses.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to Student Dream TV. I am your host, Nina. And as always, we are here to bring you the best money, investing, career, and startup tips so that you can secure the bag before and after graduation. And for anybody who's been interested in protesting, in activism, this session is for you. I am here with Miss Linda Wilson, who started off her career in social activism as a member of the Black Panther Party, but has since transitioned into philanthropy work, working at one of the largest foundations in the country, impacting so many different lives in so many different ways. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure to stay tuned. All right.
It just said, hopefully not psychosis,
Right.
but the neuroses of the organization. And if you learn that early on, um, you'll learn how to, just like you learn in your own family. Don't bother mom in the morning, or leave daddy alone when he comes home, or sisters, whatever. You got to
Yeah.
learn how personality functions, in yourself and in your team.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
so helpful.
clear. That's a lot, isn't it? But
it is a lot, and they need to listen because you've done a lot. And I need to listen. So let me not just say y'all, but we. And so everybody who's watching this, make sure you hit that like button if you're getting anything out of this video. I know I am. So next question, Linda, is, man, I mean, you're talking about your life is at danger at times. You're being beaten. There's just mental exhaustion that you're going through. Those are some downsides to activism. What would you say are some cautions, any cautions that you have around activism?
Well, recognize it is dangerous. You need to be clear. And I remember when I wanted to go march when I was even younger, and my mom was like standing at the door, you're not going out there. and I snuck out the window, right? But she's so mean. She doesn't get it. Well, you know what? Now I'm looking at my children. Where are you going?
Right.
Grandchildren, like, they fear for your safety. Things have happened, and they worry about you. So there is danger. I mean, there's a wonderful woman, Alexander, I think it's Amy Alexander in Detroit, who helps people when they do, what do you do if you do get locked up while protesting? So, you really need to know all the things, all the tips. Just cautious, pay attention. There are provocateurs in, everywhere you go, whether you like it or not. You've got to be aware that once you become active, that the FBI may be watching you.
Wow.
And they're not just watching what you're doing, they're watching a whole lot. When I got my FBI papers back, believe it or not, we sued and got our wiretapping.
Wow.
I got $500. Can you believe it? The lawyers got everything. I don't know, they must have got millions, but I got $500. I needed that 500 then.
Yeah.
But when I got my transcripts, everything was blacked out pretty much. But what I also noticed was they had talked to everybody in my neighborhood. My father had spoken to me for a while because he was so upset that, the FBI was bothering friends and family, and they knew personal things. So just be aware that if you start this work, you're going to be under a microscope you don't even know exists. And now they've got all kinds of surveillance and everything else. So keep that in mind. Other cautions: don't mix up admiration with attraction.
Whoo! Talk about that.
Yeah. Whether you like it or not. We're all, sexual beings. And
we have healthy reproductive systems.
Right. Yes, we do. And my father used to tell me, don't crap where you eat, and which means, be careful of your relationships on the job is what he meant. Well, that's even in church, in volunteering or anything, because enmeshment can get you in trouble. You need to be very careful about that. And unfortunately, what did Henry Kissinger said, power is the ultimate aphrodisiac. When people are in, when people are admiring them, they sometimes take advantage of the situation. And the Me Too movement knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Man.
Yeah. Get a lawyer you trust. Just befriend one, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, but one who's dedicated to the cause as well.
That's good.
Yeah, you got to check them out to make sure they're dedicated for that, not just getting ahead or getting notoriety. You want, because this is tough stuff. And you got a lot of people working against that one lawyer, and they'll cave.
Hmm.
And we had some excellent, lawyers that I just was so impressed by.
Wow.
And they looked like Clark Kent and came out Superman kind of a thing.
I
So,
love it.
but the big thing is always work on yourself so you don't get in your own way.
Hmm.
Your emotions are going to be heightened about everything. And that means when you're working in teams, when you're working in groups or whatever, keep working on yourself. Always make that a side lane for you, that you don't just get into and just throw yourself into everything. You can get reckless if you don't work on yourself.
Mm.
And another caution is forgive frailties. You're going to, we're all frail. We all have our stuff. And, so forgive, but don't get fooled by them. Don't become a cult. Don't become a cult. If you start seeing people becoming abusive, because there's a great book, The Oppressed Become Like the Oppressor, you got to watch that. Once you start seeing that happening, run. and take care of yourself.
Get out.
Yeah. Take care of yourself, because some things have damages that you don't need.
Wow. Take care of yourself. Make sure you're always working on yourself and developing yourself so you can get out of your own way. The difference between admiration versus attraction, y'all. Linda is dropping gems, everyone. I want to know from you all. Let me know in the comments section, what is resonating most with you? Wow. And so Linda,
this isn't live though, right?
No, this isn't live. This isn't live.
So we'll get a lot of that later.
Yeah, this isn't live. This is just so that it's just a good habit for engaging listeners or watchers on YouTube, just to keep them, engaged.
Well, Nana, make sure if people have questions that you feed them to me, and I'll answer them.
Okay, absolutely. Okay. Thank you, Linda. So my next question for you, Linda, is, you have a bachelor's degree in communications, you have a master's degree in organizational development, and I love that you didn't just hoard that knowledge, sidebar, that you actually are applying it towards the community. You're a certified life coach, right? So you have a number of perspectives working with people and institutions and organizations. Any advice from those perspectives when it comes to career?
Oh, yeah, a big one that I'd like to get people to think about is, you hear that takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes a village for adults too. And
yes,
you really need to assemble a tribe. And I call it supporting cast, if you will. Whether you're going into a job or whether you're setting up your own business, deep down, you have to have not just one person in your life that you wear out till they begin to hate you, but have, different people. I remember doing this with a group of interns, and I had them list who does this, who does that, and they all listed their mother. And, and I'm like, Dag, what does mom say about that? They said, she's tired, and I know she is. Yeah. I can't even imagine if she has more than one child. But I'll give you a list of things that you could consider a supporting cast. And one is an advisor. A lot of people talk about mentors, but in actuality, a mentor is often to mean a sponsor. And a sponsor means that's somebody that propels you in an organization. Well, an advisor is somebody that doesn't necessarily do that. They just give you advice. And that may be, you need to read such and such. Or you need to go, or you need to get a haircut or whatever. It doesn't matter. Whatever. And you can take their advice or leave it. Another one is a catalyst. Everybody needs that person that you just admire because of the way that they do things. They energize you. They show you ways to do something different. Or an activator. and you need to, and they should not necessarily be the same person. Every once in a while, you
Mm,
might get one that has two of these properties, but you really need that tribe so you don't wear everybody
yes.
out. And you also need to think about who could I be for somebody else in this role,
Yes.
right? You got it. Celebrator. You need somebody, you know how you just call and you want to talk to somebody and then they start critiquing it and you're like, Dad, I
Mm,
just wanted them to say, that good job.
wow. Yeah.
You need to know who's going to do what, whether you like it or not. You know, you have friends that do certain things.
Absolutely.
Cheerleader, when things are tough, like keep going, you can handle it. I can't tell you, I have a call later, a young lady who, a Black woman who works in a white foundation, and she's wanting to cuss them out right now. So
Yeah.
right now I've got to, oh, we need you there. That
Yeah.
type of thing. So you need
Cheerleader.
those, right? You need the constructive critics. Well, you don't want somebody who knows less than you criticizing you. You need somebody who's an expert who can tell you, well, you need to do this, and
Right.
well, uh, you're using the preposition wrong or whatever. It doesn't matter. But listen, right? You need a connector. Everybody
Connector.
needs a connector. That's what you do. That's your
This is
job.
good.
That's why you started Student Dream. You're doing
Thank
connecting,
you.
right? Yes,
Yeah.
they can put you down in that little box, right?
Yeah. Put me down, y'all. Studentdream.org. Make sure you sign up, become a member today. Free
That's right.
membership.
That's right. Financial guru.
Mm,
Everybody needs one. Now, if you go in an organization, you need to befriend somebody in the finance department who can say, my budget, how could I do this so it really passes better or whatever?
yeah.
Well, how's my expense report look to you, et cetera, et cetera. You need somebody that does that.
Right.
You need role
Oh,
models.
wait, Linda,
Wait.
before you go on, I just want to let them know what's great for all you listening. If you're looking for a connector and a financial guru, Student Dream can be both of that to you,
There it is.
right? Because we have the programs that you can plug into to learn how to get the mentorship you need and get your money together. So thank you
Right.
for the plug, Linda.
Hey, I didn't even know I was doing it now. And of course, you got the role models. Then you got your sponsors. And the
Yeah.
last one I would say is have a technology or technical expert. Always have somebody who knows the Zoom inside and out or whatever.
Yes.
I had to hire one because the phones don't work. Everything, it's like hell all the time. Need somebody who sees it from the top, a systematic way, as well as just did you plug in the cable in the right spot?
Right.
You need all of those. So that supporting cast for me is so important for you. And another thing is learn who you have a formal structure, but always check out the informal structure. Who's in charge, who's really in charge. And believe it or
That's
not,
good.
always be kind to everybody. Be respectful. The executive assistants are your gatekeepers, and if they don't like you, you'll never get an appointment.
Wow.
Another one is, don't laugh, the driver. Sometimes the big shots, they keep to themselves, but where are they alone? In the car.
Wow.
And it's been shown that powerful people talk in the car. They just do. And who are they going to talk to? Not always on the phone. They're going like, Felix, what do you think about blah, blah, blah? They just, they need somebody to bounce ideas off of. And that person is giving them advice from whatever communities they belong to. So always keep in mind that there are those that are in charge, but you may not even have access to them, but you certainly have influencers who you may not have paid attention to. Find out your legends, find out the heroes, find out the little groups, who does the little side groups, who plays chess, who does this, who does that.
So helpful, Linda. Thank you.
I know I have to be specific.
Taking the morning with this decolonizer. And any last words for us, Linda? I mean, you've dropped so many gems. There's so much for me to apply, for all of our college students listening, high school students, even adults, parents listeing. Any last words?
Just read and get on those podcasts. Do the study. And also the most important thing is develop yourself. develop yourself. I can't even tell you how many programs. I don't even care if I get a certificate or not. I just
Yeah.
want so I always believe that what you learn in this domain is applicable to all domains. That's, to me, life is so interconnected and interwoven and so beautifully constructed without even knowing how.
Very true.
But you need, something you learn in photography, something you learn in flower arranging, gardening, whatever. Take that and throw it into the mix. I was listening to people talk about hip hop, and that's what they did. They
Yeah.
created something, what they call now fusion, but they didn't even know they were creating something new because they were expressing things that were just knocking at their mental doors or their emotional doors, and they just did it. And that's what people want in the world today. That's what I want on my team.
Awesome.
So
Thank you, Linda. Well, thank
You're
you for
welcome.
taking the time, Linda.
Oh,
I
it's
will make
fun.
sure that for the students who are listening, who want to learn more about Fund2 Foundation, all of the information is in the show notes. But Linda, what can we do, right? We are based here in Brooklyn. We work with college students, high school students all across Brooklyn and New York City. How can we support the work of Fund2 Foundation?
Well, definitely go to InternX and sign up. Try to get an internship, even if you don't get an internship, because we've got so many kids now. And virtual internships, they're going to be fewer than ever before. But we have a learning management system that we're paying a lot of money for. Tap every one of those courses and learnings that you can.
Okay.
Also, we do something called we did do a restoration retreat where we take kids who have been affected by violence in their community and teach them meditation, mindfulness, yoga, as well as every other kind of financial literacy. We open a bank account. So find a young person and just help them. If you need somebody, we've got a bunch.
Yes, yes.
They need, everywhere they turn, I believe, if they find love and attention, they can't help but grow. So
yes.
if you want to, send me your name and I will attach you to a wonderful kid who's struggling, particularly right now. And what we've discovered is that to get out of this morass of the quarantine, if you help somebody else, I don't know, you come alive.
Yes.
Even this
we
morning, I was like, oh, I'm getting ready to do this.
I know. Thank you so much, Linda, for setting the tone. I mean, it's been an honor to talk with you because I think there's this like transitional justice that needs to take place in terms of the older generation, the sages really teaching us how it's done and how to really have philanthropy for the people. So that's what I call activism, man. That's what you're doing with the foundation. And I just thank you so much, Linda. I cannot wait to share with our students about InternX and just an update for you, Linda. Actually, before I go into that, let me just sign off. So everyone, let me know in the comment section below what you got out of this. What was your main aha moment from Linda's talk, right? How are you going to take steps to do philanthropy for your people across Brooklyn, New York City, Chicago, DC, wherever you're at? Let us know in the comment section. If you have questions for Linda, make sure you put it in the comment section as well. And as always, time is money, talk is cheap, talk is broke, and time is money. So take action now. All right, y'all? Let's get it and see you next time. And vote. Peace.